Welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Akron.
Coming up, we'll give you the inside scoop at how the University of Akron is ranked 5th for Recycling Initiative.
Then we take you on location to a tiny drone racing event.
And later, we'll go back in time with an interview focusing on Holocaust survivors.
All this and more coming up on Lights, Camera, Akron. Hello everyone, I'm Matt Barnhart.
And I'm Brooke McKivergan.
So this past weekend, I got to go have some fun and got to see the Lego Batman movie. I know it's a kid's movie, but the voiceover actors did a phenomenal job.
Oh, great. I got the chance to go to the Arnold in Columbus with my internship, and they did a great job covering it, but I wish they would have had the chance to use a drone or something and get a bird's eye view on the people lifting. That would have been so cool.
Drones are the absolute best. Their video capabilities are endless, their steady cams are amazing, and our very own Cortez Grayson for our first story got to go to Strongsville and check out Tiny Whoop drone racing.
Let's take a look.
I'm here at the quad racing event in Strongsville, Ohio, where they're going to be racing mini drones. Let's check it out.
I was able to talk to Paul Atkins, the creator of the Quad Racing Group of Ohio, who currently has a Facebook group of over 450 members. Paul's main objective is to organize events so that people can race their quads.
Can you tell me about why you wanted to create this group?
Back in the late 80s, I used to race airplanes and kind of got out of racing airplanes a long time ago. Had the opportunity to fly these quads, came along, and I had a buddy said they were going to start to race them, and so I got all my stuff and I started practicing, and nobody ever really started to race them, so I did. So that's how I got started.
That's pretty cool. And so you were fascinated by flying. Why is that?
I don't know. I think every little kid's got to be fascinated with flying. I've always wanted to fly since I was a kid in the Superman days, you know. So and flying, this is just like Superman now. So yeah, it's perfect.
What is the coolest thing about flying helicopters, airplanes, and drones in general?
The technology. It continues to grow and expand, and it grows so fast, especially in the FPV and drone electronics world.
That's amazing, man. I love it. Like, that's pretty cool and like exciting and inviting because, you know, it's something new that I've never seen before.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Ben C., the creator of the Quad Racing Group of Ohio Tiny Whoop Points Race Series event, was unavailable for comment. However, he has been involved in a variety of events, including the multi-GP regional qualifiers and finals events, Tiny Whoop racing events, and he has even created his own website called TeamC3D.com for 3D printing. Also, I was able to talk to Quad Racing Group members who all have a passion for racing and enjoy the art and technology of flying.
You were involved in the Quad Racing Group. What is your function?
Basically, I'm one of the safety officers and track designer. I help set up all the tracks.
That's cool. That's cool. And what's fascinating the most about, you know, flying these drones and everything?
I originally started flying airplanes about 14 years ago, and then just the last couple of years got into the quads, and just the feeling of being like you're in the quad flying, just like, you know, the best thing you can be, and like you know, like you're in an airplane, you know, flying first-person view. I mean, it's just a different feeling.
What's fascinating the most about, you know, flying these drones?
I just have fun doing it. It's like being in a little airplane, basically.
And with just that in general, like, why do you like flying drones? Like, what's so special about it to you?
I've always been into electronics and technical stuff like that, and interested in some racing, especially like the Red Bull racing, and I feel like this is kind of a way to do that, but a nerdy way to do it. So,
do you build your own drone?
I assembled it. It's only 2 pieces that I put together. There's not much to it. A little bit of soldering. That's it.
How long did it take you, and was it difficult at all, or?
No, it's not difficult at all. If you can operate a soldering iron, then that's it.
What got you interested in racing pilots?
I flew planes, and a buddy of mine at work, he raced drones, so I decided to see what it was about. I stopped in, took a look at it, I loved it, and I just joined right in.
What interests you the most, though, about it? Like, what sparked your interest?
The first-person view. I'm a competitive person, so I've been in sports and everything my whole life, so racing's great. I like the sport. I'm kind of nerdy, so I like the whole thing, the FPV, and, you know, it's competitive, so I like trying to be first, obviously, so that's what really brought me to it.
So if you're a huge competitor, how many races have you won?
I have won 0 races, actually. This is my second race here, and I'm new to drones. I've been flying planes for about a year now, but I've been flying these little tiny whoops for 2 months now.
It's cool, it's cool. Don't you want to win one? Your first one?
Yeah, of course, I'd love to win a race, but at the end of the day, it's all fun. I'm not going to be heartbroken or upset if I don't win. It's all for fun.
Even though I wasn't able to race a drone, I had the opportunity to wear a VR headset, and I was able to view what the quad racers see when they are racing one another. Overall, it was a remarkable experience. This has been Cortez Grayson. Lights, camera, Akron.
Oh wow, it looks like so much fun. I wish I had that opportunity.
Yeah, drone racing is the absolute best. The VR goggles, like what Cortez got to do, are the most fun. I got to put them on one point in time when I was working at High Voltage Racing, and the guys were speeding around the tracks, and as they were coming at me, they stopped the last second and shot the drone up into the air. I was terrified.
Scary.
Yeah, but the thing is things like this is a lot of fun, and bringing in new organizations like this to the campus would be a great idea.
I agree. Speaking of new organizations, students here at UA are working to bring a pretty cool one onto campus, and our Jordan Miles is a part of it.
That's right, and she has the story. Let's check it out.
I recently got the chance to sit down with the campus coordinator, founder, and president of the Her Campus chapter at UA. Here's what she had to say.
I decided to start a Her Campus chapter at Akron, mainly because I was a part of the student newspaper, The Book Delight, last semester, and we received word that the Book Delight would not be in operation this semester, and I really loved writing. I loved the idea of interviewing and creating different pieces, regarding the campus and the community, what's going on here. And so I was pretty much looking for an opportunity to create that opportunity for myself and for other college women. And what better way to do so than an online magazine where we wouldn't have to worry about fees and we wouldn't have to worry about publication prices and paper and everything like that. So we would be able to really get it off the ground fairly easily.
With the lack of the Book Delight at UA, Her Campus can be the place where students who have a passion for journalism can go to create, share, and be published.
Her Campus is the #1 global online community for college women. It is an online magazine written for and by college students, including men if they're interested, but it is geared towards college women and their experiences both on and off campus. So we write pieces on campus events and write profiles on students and faculty, as well as branch out into the community and cover different events going on in different businesses, whatever it is that we're interested in.
Myself and Abby, as well as the rest of the executive board for Her Campus, are working to recruit more writers along with others who are interested in growing this new organization on UA's campus.
I think it's one of the biggest parts of Her Campus is to create that bridge between both. I think that the university is constantly striving to build those relationships because it can be very easy for us to be stuck on campus and not branch out into the community. So Her Campus's goal would be to, forge those connections and network as much as possible with different small businesses, different restaurants, pretty much anything that we find would be relevant to the college experience, and do interviews, write profiles, and really start to build that bridge between student and community.
It's important to all of us, a part of the organization, to reach out to downtown Akron and surrounding areas to begin to build a relationship with the rest of the city through Her Campus.
I am so excited to not only build a team of like-minded individuals, but to really start networking with the campus community. I feel like at a school that is so big and that is in the middle of a city that it can be easy to just feel like a number. However, when we start to get those interviews and we start to build connections, it's just going to bring more people into the fold. And I'm really excited to be proud of my school and to feel connected to it and to involve other people in that as well.
This has been Jordan Miles with Lights, Camera, Akron.
As a fellow female journalist, I love seeing things like that come to our campus.
I think it's a great initiative, and the best part is not only women can get involved, but so can men.
Yeah, I hope it does well.
Okay, we're gonna take our first commercial break.
But when we come back, we'll find out how UA got ranked 5th out of 47 for Recycling Initiative.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Lights, Camera, Akron.
For our next story, we're gonna throw it over to Brissa Bradfield, who has all of info on UA's recycling status.
It's actually pretty interesting. Take a look.
This week, I had the opportunity to sit down with the University of Akron's Manager of Recycling, Andrew Henry. and learn more about how Akron plans to win first place next year in the 2017 Game Day Challenge.
The Game Day Challenge is actually separate from our Zero Waste Initiative at InfoCision Stadium.
The University of Akron's goal each football game is to divert at least 90% of all waste from the landfill.
So we did 4 different things. We introduced recycling, that all your traditional recyclables can go into: cardboard, paper, glass, metal. The second thing we did was introduce compost. Now we're no longer landfilling our food scraps or our fiber products. The third thing we did is introduce recycling ambassadors.
The student volunteers come in wearing the University of Akron's recycling brand and help each of the fans identify which bin their waste should go in.
The last thing we did, and at the end of the evening, we've collected from the concourse, the stands, from levels 5, 6, and 7, from the tailgating area, from the Zips Fest. Now we have all of our waste consolidated. We have it all sorted, but then we'll go through and hand sort it to guarantee that the streams are pure, and that the waste stream in particular, we've gotten all of the recyclables or the compostables out. That's how you reach 90% diversion. Why is 90% diversion important? Because by EPA standards, if your event exceeds 90% diversion, you qualify as zero waste. Now you're a zero waste event. Having said that, I had alluded to the fact that I'm pretty competitive. There's a game day challenge, and the challenge is who can divert the most waste from their game day football games. And we've been kicking butt. We've been doing 90% plus for the past 3 seasons. We have our sights on. Our goal for next year is 95% because although we came in 5th, which was an incredibly good standing for a school of our size, because again, it is a very big undertaking. We want to hit 95% and be first next year.
They plan to work with Airmark to eliminate serving silverware or utensils that were not able to be recycled in past seasons, all to help them achieve 95% diversion.
The first year they had a category specific to organics diversion, and we were actual national champs for diversion of organics, which again is your food scraps and your fiber products. A couple years after that, we were runner-up, so we had come in 2nd for the competition, beating out much larger schools like Ohio State and things like that. So football is kind of athletics as a whole. We treat athletics like it's the front door of the university. If we want to change something in our recycling program, typically we introduce it in our athletics, see what the feedback is, see if it's successful or not, and then we try to implement across campus. We did the same thing for single stream recycling. We saw to see whether or not single stream would work in athletics, and it did. It worked incredibly well because you're simplifying the process. No longer do you have 3 different bins, one's paper, one's cans, one's glass. Now you have one container, everything can go in there, so it simplifies the whole process. We tried that out in athletics first, and then we moved it to general campus with a lot of success. So yes, we do things with basketball and soccer, but the majority is during our football game.
This has been Brissa Bradfield with Lights, Camera, Akron.
Who knew our campus was so into recycling? And did you know that they even have ambassadors who stand in front of the bins and help you decide which bin your trash goes into?
See, that's amazing. Our organization, too, have so many volunteers and different things like that. We beat out some of the big campuses like Ohio State, and we're shooting for #1 next year.
Akron goes green.
That's right. There's been so much happening on campus that it's really hard to go out and talk with everybody about it.
Right? I know there are a lot of amazing things that happen on and off campus here in Akron.
Let's take a chance to hear about it more in this week's headlines with our very own Katie Bowman.
The University of Akron will kick off its career fair season in the next few weeks. Representatives from hundreds of companies, organizations, and school districts will be in attendance to give students opportunities to check out future internships, co-ops, and jobs. Senior Courtney Bizzetti says she thinks career fairs are important for students to attend to get real-world practice in professionalism, networking, and future opportunities. UA's Career Services even offer workshops in which students can learn how to dress professionally, partake in mock interviews, and more. On February 17th and 18th, the university debate team took on the Ohio Forensics Association State Championship in Bexley, Ohio. UA won an incredible 32 out of 61 final rounds and took top overall speaker for the 4th year in a row, thanks to Nathan Hill's first place performance in the triathlon section of the championship. A new program is coming to Akron's campus, For those interested in gaining legal background but want to opt out of the traditional 3-year Juris Doctor degree, there is now the option to pursue a Master's of Study in Law. Students currently studying medicine, journalism, social work, or even engineering should take advantage of this opportunity as legal issues are commonly encountered in their field. That's all for this week's headlines. Brooke, Matt, back to you. Thanks, Katie.
Programs like that are fantastic for the school because I know being in communications, we got to skim the surface and know a few things just to make sure that our programs that we put out to the community are safe.
Right, we take one class, Legal Issues in the Media, and it's great. I learned a lot, but I wish I could learn more.
Yeah, and this is going to let you expand on that.
Exactly.
Well, that brings us to our last story of the show. You're not going to want to miss this.
Absolutely. Our Naquan James got to take a look into the history of the Holocaust as UA discovered the lost voices of prisoners.
Holocaust is one of the most memorable events of history of the 20th century. Millions and millions of lives are affected by this horrific event. Many people told their stories, but it wasn't until recently when their stories came to light. I recently sat down with Dr. David Baker of the University of Akron's Drs. Nicholas and Dorothy Cummings Center for History and Psychology. Dr. David Bower, the author of I Did Not Interview the Dead, was a psychologist who traveled to different European countries in 1946, 1 year after World War II ended, and interviewed Holocaust survivors. In one of his articles to Displaced People of Europe, he asked the survivors 3 questions: their name, age, and what happened to you when the war began. Dr. Baker explains Bower's journey to interviewing the survivors.
David Bower wanted to, in fact, was the first person to record the testimony of Holocaust survivors. And basically his program was one to interview Holocaust survivors to capture their experience. He was interested in the psychological study of trauma, and he believed that you could develop or you could measure trauma by how someone spoke of a traumatic experience or event. So what he did was he went with his wire recorder to displaced persons camps in Europe. He interviewed over 100 survivors, and essentially he would ask them to describe their experiences during the Holocaust.
The Nazis made the prisoners sing these songs, now famously named Hinterville songs, as they read back and forth to their labor camps each day. Dr. Baker explains the history behind this practice.
Boder had people, and we're not sure exactly why, but he captured a lot of recordings as well. He asked people before he would interview them sometimes to sing to him, and they would sing a variety of songs. So the reel that we discovered had 6 songs on it. Some of them were kind of traditional Jewish folk songs. 2 of them were Holocaust-related songs. And one of them was a song that the person who sang the song to Boder discussed with him that this was a song that the Jews were forced to sing in the forced labor camps. It was a German song that the Nazis made them sing. It was kind of like an anthem or a march. It was a further measure of cruelty, humiliation, to force people to sing these songs. The song on the reel, the translation is, "Our village stands at the forest's edge."
The songs that the prisoners sang are in German and Yiddish. I asked Dr. Baker if he could tell us the meaning of the songs and what they were saying in the songs. He says that they couldn't translate the songs into English. Here's one actual recording of one of the songs called Our Village is Burning.
Reißen, brechen in seine Blusen, holen wie die wilde Flammen, als im Säule brennt, in ihr steht in guckt, da soll sich.
I'm not sure, we haven't had a translation of that song in German. We can probably find the lyrics to that. The one of the songs that was historically important was a song that actually when we listened to these for the first time, we digitized them, and we sent them to the National Holocaust Museum in Washington, and they in turn provided us with some translations, told us what the titles were about, and also shared with us some important information. So for example, one of the songs was sung by a woman named Guda Frank. And the song was a song that they were very familiar with. In fact, they shared with us that this was a song that was known during the Holocaust and is actually a song that's often performed at commemoration ceremonies. The song is called Our Village is Burning. And this was a song written by a Polish composer at the beginning of the Holocaust, when it was not uncommon. There was examples in history where synagogues would be burned, communities would be burned, and he wrote this song in reaction to that. What was interesting about the recording in our collection is the woman, before she sang the song to David Boder, explained that the composer's daughter would sing this song in the basements of the Krakow ghetto to inspire people to rebel against the Germans. She also changed the lyric of the song from "Our village is burning" to "The Jewish people are burning."
Once these songs were discovered, it was very difficult to play classic songs in modern technology. With the help of the UA community, millions of people can now listen to these timeless artifacts of history. Dr. Baker explains how this came to be, how the machine used to play these recordings works.
This was one of the original wire recorders that belonged to David Boder. This is the wire recorder that was rebuilt to allow us to hear the spools. So here you can see, we have two spools, much like you would with a reel-to-reel tape player, but instead of tape, we have a very thin wire, a magnetic wire that passes over a head, and that's what produces the sound. They built this so that it could transfer immediately into the computer so that that sound is digitized and captured. This was I don't know the technical term for it. But anyway, they had concerns when they were designing this. They were getting a lot of feedback from it and some hum. So they added this metal plating on the front that was able to reduce that noise and hum from the playback.
Dr. Baker described these recordings as a way to be able to give these survivors a chance for their story to be told. Quote, "These songs and the voices of the subjected to unspeakable cruelty are a reminder of the power of memory, the value of history, and the indomitable human spirit." End quote. If you would like to hear more recordings or learn more about this subject, you can log on to www.uakron.edu. This story will be on its front page. If you would like a copy of Dr. Boer's book, I Did Not Interview the Dead, you could buy it on Amazon. This has been Naquan James for Lights, Camera, Akron.
Wow, they went through so much to get that audio. That's amazing. They had to get a translator. They had to build a special machine to listen to it.
Yeah, and the thing is with the machine, it's old analog technology that they actually found these recordings on, wires, almost like an 8-track. So the University of Akron came together, built a machine, got the recordings off of it that were actually still in German and Yiddish, and then had that translated.
That's so cool.
It's been amazing, and the thing is it feels like a Nicolas Cage movie, National Treasures. We just came across this information, and once they did, they wanted to make sure that it was out to the public.
That's amazing that this is happening at Akron.
That seems to be all the time we have for this episode.
But you can stay connected with us by liking us on Facebook, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and following us on Twitter at ZTVLCA. This has been Brooke McKivergan.
And Matt Barnhart. Thanks for checking us out on this week's Lights, Camera, Akron.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. To find out how you can make Emmy-winning media, visit the UA School of Communication online. ZTV. Make media. Make a difference.